Welcome to Inside the Numbers, the Rock Daisy Sports Performance Podcast with your host, Coach Cody Hughes. Join us to unlock the secrets behind athletic performance as we break down the metrics and transform your collected data into powerful, actionable insights. Tune in for exclusive interviews with top coaches and professionals who are revolutionizing their training programs with data. If you love what you hear, please share it on X, Instagram, and YouTube, and tag us at RockDaisyAMS. What's going on, guys? Here I am, Coach Cody Hughes with the Inside the Numbers Sports Performance Podcast, brought to you by Rock Daisy AMS. And guys, I want to go ahead and say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening as we launch this thing. But I want to start off by saying this. There are a ton of podcasts in this space, and anybody with an iPhone can have a podcast now. And if you look at the numbers, if your podcast makes it past 20 episodes, you're in the top 10, 5, 1%, somewhere in there of podcasts. So a lot of them just die off and don't add a lot of value. And in sports performance, about 8 to 10 years ago, podcasts were all the hits, right? That's when things were starting to come out, whether you were listening to, Strength Coach podcast or, you've been listening to Just Fly Sports Performance podcast with Joel Smith for years. That has continued to add value over a long span of time. But there are a lot of podcasts in this industry, especially strength conditioning, sports performance, that continues to regurgitate the same thing over and over. I'd say I'm guilty of that too with my previous podcast, the Student Athlete Preparation Podcast. And part of the reason I shut it down is because it didn't feel genuine anymore. I didn't feel like I was helping solve enough problems or bringing enough value to the coach and to the teams, and combined with that, to the athletes. So what we've decided to do here at Inside the Numbers is go down a little more detailed route and hopefully add value in a specific area and be able to go a little bit more of a mile deep rather than, 6 inches deep and a mile wide. Because everybody hears the same things regurgitated over and over, even though sometimes that's needed because there's still a lot of coaches out there that don't know the foundations of training and want to continue hearing from different voices and saying things in different ways. But one item that we don't hear enough about is collecting data, utilizing metrics, and being able to unpack those things that are going to help us be more valuable, help us communicate better, and be more effective as coaches. I feel like sometimes when somebody hears, sports science or they talk about data or metrics, they automatically assume it's somebody that's may have a PhD, somebody with a lot of technology, somebody with a lot of resources. If you're a high school strength coach and you're like, man, we don't have that kind of money, data is not something that we can truly pull off. And I just don't think that's true. I think that there is a misconception of what data is or what metrics are and how they're so powerful. Because when you break it down, data and different metrics are being used every single day. And to me, all data or metrics is just organized information that is often quantitative, something that you can measure with. And then there's also qualitative data, things that you're looking at that you can't put a number on. And I want to make sure that all coaches know this. Whether you are the coach that, is on the side of, I love numbers, I've got a lot of technology, we utilize a lot of things that involve numbers. And I feel like I fall on part of that side of the spectrum. Or if you're an old school coach, right, that doesn't like spreadsheets, doesn't like computers, really just wants to get after it and stay in the heart of the training system, stay in the heart of the floor and bang weights. No matter what side you fall on, you're all collecting data, every single one of us. Your eyes are constantly collecting data. You're capturing metrics. You're seeing behaviors. And if we can learn to capture those things, be able to display them well, communicate them well, and organize them well, we're going to have the shot to be able to maximize our value as coaches, especially if you're a strength coach that needs to be able to communicate your value to head coaches, to your players, to your parents, to your admin, to whoever. If you're in a private facility, you need to be able to use it as marketing for people that you want to train. You want to be able to use it to adjust things on the fly based off what you see, both in the macro level and the micro. So the goal of this podcast is to be able to find the experts in all facets of sports performance and strength and conditioning that are doing this at a high level and continue to hear it from different voices and everybody doing it in different ways. And that doesn't mean that you have to be some, crazy numbers guy or girl to qualify to want to talk about this. The goal is to be able to bring on a diverse group of coaches that are doing it in all kind of different ways and asking really good questions so that you guys, the listener, can listen and take something away that's going to take you from, one step closer to being the coach you always wanted to be and being more effective in coaching. Because that's what this podcast is going to be about, is simply driving value to be able to become the absolute best trainer, strength and conditioning coach, head sport coach, by utilizing data and metrics in a very positive way. Because I know that some coaches are like, man, I'd love to collect all that data, but I don't have time. I don't have the resources. I don't have this, that, and another. And I want to be able to remove any excuses that we have and be able to show that everybody has the ability to do it and be able to hear from different guests and different coaches across the country and the world that, hey, maybe this is important. Okay, well, how is it? And then go from there. Something as simple as breaking down sprint times, something as simple as talking about physics, the metrics of physics and how it applies to training on a simple level, taking attendance, taking body weights, what to do with them, why it's important. Can you do it? How would you apply it? There's a lot of different things we're going to unpack here, and it's going to be very impactful across the industry to be able to talk about these things and hopefully maximize strategies and continuing to unpack it and have the conversation and keep talking and never stop giving up on it. Because as soon as we just give up and say we can't do this, growth begins to deteriorate, and eventually you become the coach that this is how we've done things. This is how it's always been. And that's the one thing we never like to hear. So in closing, I want to welcome you to Inside the Numbers Sports Performance Podcast, brought to you by Rock Daisy AMS. And we hope you can join us on our journey of becoming better coaches. See you next time.